Hello and welcome to another episode of the Christian Reeve podcast. Today's guests, that's right, plural, is a melodic death/thrash metal band. I believe you're still going by that. Their name is Xenith. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Oh yeah.
Hello.
No worries. It's a pleasure to have you here. It's cool to have you guys. I've seen you guys a couple of times live now, and I don't know if it sounds weird. I don't know. I like to keep tabs on like local bands. I'm a big fan of music myself. I'm a musician as well, and every now and again I find a band that's like stands out in some way, and I think I've predicted it before. I had another band on here recently, the lead singer on, and they've just gone to BBC Introducing just recently, and they're starting to get radio play and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of the time you can kind of see that happening, but it's unpredictable, like when that is. Like it could happen now, it could happen 3 years from now. Who's to say? But I guess my first question to you before we kind of take it back is like where you're at right now. What's the kind of sentiment across the band? Like where do you feel you're at right now?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's a good question.
I hear you a big
I
one
think-
straight away.
yeah. I think we're just kind of like at the start of what we really want to do at the moment. I think we're still kind of like laying the groundwork for what, like figuring out the band we want to actually be, and kind
of course.
getting an idea of like where we're gonna go. But yeah, it still feels very like early days, but we obviously want to, take the next steps as well.
Well, obviously, a lot of the music that's released on Spotify is more like thrash focused, if that makes sense. Whereas, we're trying to move a little bit away from that and maybe evolve a little bit, if that makes sense.
What direction do you feel you're leaning in, so to speak? I mean, that to me
Well,
sounds like, okay, it's a genre thing, which obviously is going to happen in your first few years as a band, but it's like...
Of course.
What are we in now? Year 2? Year 3? Year 4?
I think this is like kind of like second year of the band, but like we're kind of treating it as like first year of actually
Yeah.
like doing it properly and like kind of make it. I think we started like late 2023, and then we were like working on the EP, and it was just kind of like all a bit messy. But then this year, since we've had a full band, it's been a lot easier to like get gigs and like actually get stuff going.
I think a big reason behind that as well is like the chemistry that band has. So when you're on stage, something that's clear right off the bat is that chemistry. Like it's tight, it's not clunky. So you saying like, oh, we don't know, not sure where the sound is, that doesn't come off like when you're on stage. That's not apparent then. Like obviously that might be apparent.
Cool.
It might be apparent to a listener if you if you, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is just my take. When I listen to it, I hear a combination of like some modern thrash, some classic thrash, and then I hear Children of Bodom. That's something I hear.
Yeah.
I said that to you, Billy. I think the first time I met you, and
Yeah, I remember.
but that comes from my own personal experience because I saw them many years ago, and they kind of started out somewhat thrash. It's similar thing. They were never a thrash metal band. They were kind of like a somewhere between a death metal band, a symphonic metal band, and then thrash metal band. And then they obviously had like 4 albums that were one sound, and then after that it went, I guess you could call it contemporary. I don't know. Then it goes into genre weird territory. Their sound, And that's kind of something that stood out to me because I've seen like a million thrash metal bands over the years, and I think it's a genre that maybe is kind of hard to stick out in because you're almost always going to get compared to someone. And I think that can be a little bit unfair because it's like, oh, you might take inspiration from these particular artists, but it doesn't mean like we're trying to be like them or that's the goal kind of thing. But with where things are headed, like, is there any particular genres that you're looking to explore or like any ways you're looking to switch it up and Like, what is that new direction that you're kind of feeling approaching, so to speak?
I think it's kind of just pushing our sound as far as we can go. So like with what we've got coming up, it's a lot more like more technical, but then maybe more heavy songs, and then some maybe slower. So just trying to kind of push it, maybe bring in like we brought in a lot more like death metal and like black metal elements, just trying to kind of like mix and match like everything we like and just create something that's like this big melting pot of all of our influences, basically.
Grab sounds and smash them together.
When it comes to everyone's inspirations here, like, is there any maybe that would surprise listeners here? Like, is there any? Because obviously you all like thrash metal, that's clear. We know there's Children of Bodom maybe is an influence, but is there any other bands that maybe are a surprise influence?
I don't know.
Well, I know one for myself, but I don't know if it's relevant to the band.
What are you thinking?
Well, I've always taken, well, as far as drums go, like myself playing drums, I've always taken so much inspiration from Vinnie Paul from Pantera, just because like that level of groove in the style of playing, it always spoke to me, and I always thought it was really cool, and it was like something that he had that not a lot of other drummers have, and I try to emulate that in myself. But yeah, I don't know if that comes across in the music or.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's like I said before. Like I think when it comes to you guys and the stage presence and what's on the table, the energy is the thing that I look at, and then how tight the band actually is. Because you see a lot of bands play together, and sometimes it just looks like they're uncomfortable just being on stage. Which, to be fair, being on stage is kind of awkward. I don't know. For anyone who's not a musician, it's like everyone's staring at you, and like you could. I don't know. You might get this. You know, sometimes when you like fuck up something, and to you it seems like the end of the world. Not one person in the fucking audience going to notice, but to you it's like devastating. And in that moment, sometimes it might just be coincidence, but someone's like looking at you weirdly, and it could be the light, or it could just be that they're staring. I don't know, but it kind of throws you off your game for a second, and then it's like, what am I going to do? What do you do to stay focused and like, especially do any of you get like nervous when you go on stage or anything like that?
I think we all get a bit nervous, even if we won't admit it. I think like I know I get like absolutely terrified for like doing vocals as well, because this is like before I used to play in bands, I was just the guitar player. So this is the first band I'm like doing vocals as well. So that's like coming into that, it's been like absolutely terrifying for a while. But I think over time it's got a little easier. But yeah, I'm absolutely getting it every time.
What prompted that? Because I've got a bit of experience here. May surprise you. Many years ago, I was in a thrash metal band, so there's something you don't know. Anyway, like yourself, same thing. I started up a band. We were looking for like a year for a singer, and it was the bassist in the end that turned around to me and went, "Well, none of us can sing, but why don't you?" And I was like, "Well, I can't sing." And they were like, "Well, I can't sing for shit, so why don't you?" And I was like. And then, but I never thought about like, oh, you've got to be like the front person of the band as well, and like you got to interact and be like your own hype person and just all these different things that you don't really think about, because you just think, oh, it's easy, I'll just play and sing, scream, whatever, and there's so much more than that. Like, especially if you're trying to pass time as well. Like, I don't know, let's say someone's got to tune up and you've got to make like mini conversation.
God, yeah. The amount of just awkward silences of like, what do I say? Okay, I think I've got it.
What's your most awkward moment on stage so far?
Oh, I know what it is.
What is it?
It was we were playing at Bank. What was it? Banktop Tavern. Yeah, we played at Banktop Tavern. Casey's guitar just gave out and stopped working. And instead of like, where's the sound guy? Who can fix this? We just decided to like, we were like, oh, do we get the sound guy? We were stood there for like 30 seconds trying to figure out what we should do, and then we decided to just play the set with one guitar on top.
See, this is the right way to go about it. Like, I always think of the classic saying, you know, the show must go on. But admittedly, you don't have much time to decide. It's like, right, do we just fucking end it, or do we keep going? Do we, you know, like I went to see a band recently, shout out to Blythe, and there was a support band that were on, and they're fine, they're great, you know, but like final song or two, yeah, one of the guitars cut out, same thing. And it was like panic, frustration, and then they just stopped. And then we're like, oh yeah, sorry guys, we're just gonna see if we can continue the set. And I'm like, just fucking sing a cappella, man. Just sing.
Yeah.
Pretend like it's part of the song. I mean, I've done that. I did that at a gig about a month ago where I completely fucked up and I just went along and pretended like it was part of the arrangement. It wasn't, but it just, you know.
Yeah.
And like, especially with metal as well, like with vocals, if you fuck up like lyrics or something, you can just scream and no one knows the difference.
Oh, I think one of our last gigs I did that, I completely forgot the words. I was like, no one knows what I'm saying anyway. It don't matter. Yell, and hopefully it'll be fine.
I had that when I was in my band, and you know, like there's always bands that you end up befriending, that you see a lot, that you end up playing with a lot, and it was that sort of situation. And I spoke to my friend. I was like, "Oh, I completely fucked this up," and he's like, well, "I don't know the songs, dude. Like I couldn't tell." And that was when the light bulb was like,
Yeah.
But anyways, let's take it back before we go forward. How did all of you get into music? So before we talk about how Xenith came together, like, where's the journey start for all of you?
Well, like right at the beginning, like how we got into music, or like playing, or
Yeah, I mean, whatever sort of comes to mind, whatever, wherever the kind of the journey begins. Because obviously, yeah, there's when you get first into music, and then there's when you first become a musician. So maybe let's go with when you first kind of started becoming musicians.
well, I guess the earliest thing that crops up to me is when I can't even tell you how old I was. I was very young, and my dad had me in the car picking me up from school, right? And he was just like, Ozzy, listen to this. And he put on Thunderstruck by AC/DC, right? And that night got home and stole my sister's guitar and tried to learn it and failed horribly. But like I was so determined to learn it, and I was like, that kind of, I guess that sparked my interest of like, oh, this is a thing I can do. And it's like the fascination from that. It's just, yeah, it's never really gone away.
Yeah, it's crazy how it can stick with you. I mean, I remember watching people for like a while before I started getting into it. That and just being, I was quite poor at school, so like a lot of these kids had like, you know, state of the range guitars. I had to trade my bike for my first guitar just to kind of like get that.
Oh wow!
But it was worth it. Anyone else want to throw up their story of getting into it?
It's kind of a similar thing. I think I was like 11-ish. I got really into like grunge for a while at that age. And I was like into like Nirvana and all that. And that's when I was kind of like, oh, guitar's really cool. I should start playing guitar. So then I did that. And then from there, it was just like, you know, Metallica. And then that just opens the floodgates. And then you just want to learn everything. And then it's basically it.
Fell straight down the pipeline.
Yeah.
For me, it was certainly with metal, it was Metallica, and then discovered Megadeth and went on that train for a while. up until I read this autobiography, and then I was like, I don't know. Actually, there's a thought. What do you all think about? Let's start with the big four. Maybe that'll be a sort of a fun detour for a second. Right.
Or like Slayer, Anthrax, Megadeth, Metallica.
That's what people consider to be the big four. Yeah.
Or thrash. Well, what do I think about them? They're all good bands.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like for me, Anthrax has never really like fit the like the mode that the other bands do. And if I could like put another band in there, I'd put Exodus instead of Anthrax.
That's like
Yeah.
I think that's how most people feel. I mean, Anthrax was kind of more the experimental band, really, weren't they? They were the ones who kind of fused it with punk and hip hop and took it in other directions. If you look at their early work, it is pretty thrash orientated. But then, if you look at like Exodus's entire career, it's like that's much more consistent. Same with like Testament and that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because all four of those bands, maybe with the exception of Anthrax, I don't know if you could say that they had like a mainstream era. Maybe when they were experimenting with the rap, I don't know. But the rest of the bands had their like mainstream eras kind of thing. And, they all took different routes. Like Metallica kind of did that for a while and then kind of returned to somewhat of a fusion, I guess. And then Megadeth is just pretty much the same throughout. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Megadeth kind of broke my heart actually because it was like I grew up thinking like, oh, this is fantastic, and I do think some of the later work is still decent, but then you see them live, and this is when it clicked for me that you can't just be a band performing like your music. There has to be like another element to it. So like, I've seen Metallica a bunch of times, seen Megadeth a bunch of times. Metallica was sloppy, but life-changing. Like, you always enjoy that experience. Megadeth was boring, to be honest.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, tight. Like great. It's definitely a musician's band, but just there's no energy. But I just have this weird memory of being at Download many years ago and just sitting in the fields, and it's like 4 PM for some reason, and they're playing on the main stage at the middle of the day. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but middle of the day. And obviously I was really excited. I was like, really into Megadeth, and it was just like really low energy. To me, it felt like Dave was just stoned or something, and he was just like, it's just like, here's a song about aliens, and then he plays Hangar 18.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fine. I don't know, but the rest of them were like really high energy, and I feel like with being in a band, like you kind of want that, don't you? And I feel like if you've got that as well, you're more likely to kind of stick together and enjoy the journey. I mean,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when it starts just being too business, I mean, like look at how many band members have come and gone in that time. It's,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I feel the same thing. Well, I saw Cannibal Corpse recently when they went on tour, and most of their songs were played like very slow compared to how they're recorded. And they had Municipal Waste open for them, and they absolutely stole the show. Like, it was incredible. Like, they brought the vibes and they brought the energy, and it was amazing.
What do you do if the band before you upstages you?
Go on.
But especially if you know that, okay, because Cannibal Corpse has been going a long time, in fairness to them, right?
Oh yeah.
But like, if you know that you see that, and you're like, damn, they really killed it. What do we do? I don't know. I suppose it's the energy thing, isn't it? Like Slayer couldn't really play that well to the end, but it was still like pretty. Just for some reason, like it didn't matter. Like the energy was there, so it just. If I feel like if the musicians give a shit and the crowd's into it, then that's all that really matters. You know.
Yeah.
It's. I feel
You
like
can tell when they don't care.
Yeah.
I think it's unacceptable, especially these days with how much ticket prices are. Like, if you don't show up, it's disturbing. What do you think are the key qualities that a band needs to stick together and kind of remain positive and keep that relationship, as positive as possible? Because obviously, being in a band is, it can be fun, it can be stressful, it can be frustrating. It can be everything, but you are like a little sort of a unit, a mini family. How do you keep it positive?
I think it's a lot of like I think you just have to have like a base level, like mutual respect for each other, and just know like there's a line and we're not going to cross it. And no matter like how much we like disagree or like whatever, like we're all friends and we're all here working towards this common goal. And like at the end of the day, that's what matters, like the music and like progressing as a band.
And
I
all
think,
want the same thing.
yeah, I think as long as we can like everyone keeps that in mind, then it's like your band's going to do well in it, because it's like you all want the same thing and you're all working on it and you're all like, hey, let's do it.
What would you say are the goals that you're sort of aiming towards? Because obviously you want to keep releasing music, you want to find that sound that's coming next, but is there any particular venues you want to play, countries you want to reach? Like what are the goals for Xenith?
I think that we're going to do we're going to enter Metal to the Masses next year, definitely. So I think that's like a big goal for us, at least getting in, and like whatever happens, but like just doing it and just trying to put ourselves out there. I know we definitely want to break out of the Manchester scene a bit more and try and play as much around the country as possible, because I think this summer we've done like 5 or 6 shows in Manchester and they've all been like really fun, but we're just like, right, we need to go somewhere else now. So I think that's something.
It's a good way of testing like sentiment, I think, as well, because I know this city loves you, but every city's like, it feels a little bit different. People are a bit different. Like the scene's a bit different. You know, like I played a gig in Nottingham recently, and people were they were very different. Not like in a necessarily good or a bad way. Just the vibe is different. But I don't know. I think that's like a challenge in of itself, isn't it? And it kind of could also be a source of inspiration. You know, often that's when the stories come, and that's where you sort of experience growth and more challenges as a band. What would you say have been like the biggest challenges so far?
I don't know.
Probably just recording.
Yeah, we're working on our first like full album at the moment, so we've just been recording like mad all summer. So it's just been like right, just getting on it. It just takes ages, but it's been worth it. Like,
so I presume it's going to be a 2026 release.
Yeah, I think we're aiming like April time probably, but we're not 100% yet.
So what's your plan for how you're going to release it? Because obviously when you release an album, there's many different ways of going about that. What's your rough plan?
I think right now we're going to just maybe do like, I think we're thinking doing like 3 singles and do like a video for at least one of them, and just do like maybe like one a month starting like January time, and then release the album, probably do like another video after it's out, and then try and just book some shows around it. We're not 100% sure yet, to be honest. But like that's the vague idea of like, once we've got it done, like map out, you know, right, we actually need to have a plan now. But like, I think that's the vague idea, is just get a good few tunes out single wise, because that seems to be what people want, like algorithm wise or whatever, like seems to be what works. So I think that's what we're doing.
Speaking of which, this is interesting because a lot of bands these days focused almost entirely on their online presence and what they're doing online, whereas your band is much more focused on live performance. Obviously you've got your music online and stuff, but like you're not like, for instance, like doing what I do, which is just like posting every day on TikTok or wherever and just trying to see if building an audience, and it can work to varying effects. It depends. Sometimes you can fall into a rhythm doing a particular thing. Artists do it different ways. Is there a particular plan as far as like that is concerned, or is it just kind of like we're focusing on live performances for now? Maybe there's a plan down the road for online stuff, or is it a conscious decision? You're not, maybe there's not interested in that.
I think it's we would like to focus on it more later down the line. I think at the moment we're kind of very like music oriented and like live show oriented right now, just kind of getting the band like as tight as possible. So as a unit, we're kind of as strong as we can be for when like that later stuff comes along. We're like ready to take it on, and then maybe if we spend more time on that, the music and like performances, we've got it down and we know that we're like super tight, so then we can afford to spend that more time on like social media and stuff like that.
What's been some of the best feedback that you've received about your music and your live shows so far?
I think you compared us to Children of Bodom, to be honest. Yeah. When you said that, I was well chuffed. I was like, guys, you'll never guess what. Well done.
Yeah, I always. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. I will. I think that the best feedback somebody can give you is negative feedback. Only because if they give you positive feedback, well, then it's just, oh, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But if they give you negative feedback, then you can come up with ways to fix it, and then that only improves you. But positive feedback really does nothing other than solidifies what you're doing.
Completely agree. So, what's the worst feedback you've received? And
I mean,
I've never seen the movie Whiplash.
the worst feedback I've ever got was I showed somebody one of our unreleased songs the other day in another local band. And he said that the song was goofy, and then he made me replay a bit of the song, and then just said, "Yeah, that's goofy," which is like, not great to hear after you've already tracked everything for it.
It's just mean. It's just like, well.
It's different. Good.
People say some crazy shit. I had what was it someone said? Oh, so I do that thing where you post every day and you can get up to like hundreds of numbers or whatever, and it works to varying effects, but I've noticed a consistent trend in like reaching new people, and I'm like, great, just going to keep doing this until I get to my next singles that I release. If you ever post on YouTube, especially if you do the shorts, I will warn you now, there will be a lot of hate coming your way. There'll be a lot of positivity as well, but there will be hate, because just, I don't know, gremlins hang out in the fucking YouTube shorts comment section. It's just awful. And today I had what was it, day 284 of me watching a failed unemployed musician. I was just like, fuck me, that was brutal. It's like, I have a job and I play music. Why are you what But I don't know. I mean, I think you got to laugh this shit off, but you've also got to, like, as you say, like, use it. Like, if it's useful in some, like, okay, that person saying it's a bit goofy, it doesn't help you. It's like, well, okay, cool. But if they say something like, like, for instance, like someone on a stream the other day was like, hey, can you listen to my band's track? And I could tell straight away that they were a very young band, probably maybe like 16, 17 is like their first project, maybe it's a garage thing, and I could tell that there was like potential, a lot of potential, especially with the guitar work, but a lot of the stuff was like just not properly mic'd up, or it wasn't recorded properly, and it's like, that's fine because it's like a first outing. It's like every band starts that way, and then you learn, and then you educate yourself. Like, that's the thing that I think people may not always realize about being a musician is it's an educational thing, and it never stops, and it goes in stages. Like, it's like, I've been a musician since I was like 11. I don't think I really started finding my footing until at least the last 5 years. It's one of them. Like, it's unpredictable. Everyone moves at a different speed. When would you say you all kind of felt more comfortable in yourselves with music and performance?
I've only been playing 2 years. I don't know.
Damn,
I guess day one pretty much. Yeah. I mean, unlike Ozzy, I never really cared for music, and I never really played music. And it's only recently that, I picked it up because it was I was bored, and I was good at it. So I was like, right, I'm doing this now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about live performances for a second. We sort of like covered it a little bit, but I always tend to ask like bands, like, what's your worst show and your best show? Because I like to kind of see the difference, like, as far as what bands take from it, but then also if there are any funny stories. So we'll start with the worst, and then we'll get to the best. What was the worst show you've played to date?
Oh no. I don't think we've done any like horrendous ones.
Never done a bad show.
That's been
Perfect.
like so unbelievably bad. Yeah.
It was definitely
Yeah, so we played the show in Whitchurch. That was like, the venue was nice. All the other bands were really cool. there was just like no one there, and it was the most like deserted little town ever. It felt like the film Hot Fuzz, where it's just like there's no one around, and it was just really, it was really creepy. We all got really scared. So yeah, it was just a bit odd. The vibe was just really weird the whole day. It's probably that one.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. There was a couple of bad shows that I had when I was in my thrash metal band, and I'll share a few before we get to your positive story. So probably the worst one, definitely the worst one for me was it's the one and only time I ever played a pub as a metal band. I like refused against it. I was like, no. I was a bit of a twat back then, to be honest. Like I was like, no, we don't play this. We only play, venues. We're a serious metal band, And I think it was my drummer who was like, should we just play this? It's like in our hometown. I was like, all right, fine. But the problem with it was an all-day thing. And we were on at like 2-3 in the afternoon, which is fine if it's like a festival, but it was a pub. And I knew the pub well, and I knew they wouldn't give a flying shit about us. What made it worse was... This is... Okay, side note. If you've ever, as an artist, been fucked by a promoter and it was because of who they chose to put on the bill, then you'll know where I'm going with this.
Right.
The band before, or the artist before us was... somewhere between a jazz guitarist and I don't know. I think he was playing like Pink Floyd deep cuts. I don't know. He played for like half an hour. I think it was one whole song or maybe a jam. I don't know. But the vibe was very like jazz bar chill, which is great. But we were a really, really heavy thrash metal band. So it's like we got on stage and within 5 seconds, the crowd just looked horrified. That it was like,
oh no,
it was like I don't know, grabbed someone and like sacrificed them on stage or something. Like everyone's like, and in my mind I was like, fuck it, just keep going till the end. And I remembered it was like at the end it was kind of like horrified golf claps like that. And then we move off stage and it is what it is. But the rest of the times, I don't know if you've ever had this, but sometimes when you play venues that are not really what you would normally play, the rules are a bit different. So it's like you might get on stage and maybe you get told, yeah, you can't sing this lyric, or you can't do this thing,
right?
None of this behavior. And it's like, well, and then now you've got a difficult decision. Do you like sell out on your beliefs, or do you go along with it? Or sorry, do you just say fuck it? And I always chose to say fuck it and just, what's the old expression? Seek forgiveness, not permission, as they say. But it's a slippery slope with that one because it can get you in some issues. Has there ever been any experiences that you've had where maybe you were at odds with, I don't know, other bands, promoters, whoever?
We haven't had anything like that.
That's
I
good.
don't think. In my old band, I remember we did a show and they said, you can't do a wall of death. Whatever you do, don't try and get them to do a wall of death. So it's like, of course, our singer just went, right, no one do a wall. Don't do a wall of death. Please don't do a wall of death. So that's the only experience I've had with anything like that. But I think we've all been have really good relationships with promoters and other bands.
That's something I find crazy looking at in today's, like, obviously most metal shows people just do what the fuck they want, and it's, as far as I've always understood it, it's, you look after each other and you just don't go too crazy. Like, you're not looking to like kill people, you're just looking to release energy, have fun, right? And you can do that if you're smart and you're not a twat. Like, that's fine, no one gets hurt. You might come out of it a bit bruised, but you'll be all right. But then there's always that one person that has to ruin it or takes it too far. And I've seen this a lot in the last 5 to 10 years of like venues actively trying to ban it and say like, no, we won't accept this. And sometimes that's even the case at festivals. Like, do you think that's something that's actually going to be enacted, or is that just like a passing
I
thing.
hope not. I really, really hope not.
I feel like it's impossible to play.
Well, like I have seen an increase in when you go and see shows, right? And then the venues will have signs up saying like no crowd surfing. Like they're okay with moshing, but not crowd surfing, and that's very strange to me.
I guess the argument is that, like, yeah, no, I still agree though, like, because in moshing, there's multiple issues, right? And it sounds like I'm trying to like expose all the bad about it, but really, it comes down to people being like visually aware. Like, I've been in like a million mosh pits. I don't do it anymore because I'm too old. But back in the day, I would, and everyone was kind of vigilant. Everyone could see, if you saw like someone that's on the younger side or someone that looks vulnerable, you keep in mind that, and you try to lift each other up, help people. I don't remember many people ever really getting hurt, and if it looked like someone was getting hurt, you'd get them out of that situation. But what I was going to say is, like, if there's a fear of like someone getting trampled on or something, that could happen. I feel like it's more of an issue at like a festival though than it would be a gig. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, no one ever gets taught how to mosh. You just do it, and then you learn. It's like
watch and learn.
Best show ever. What's your best show ever?
What do you think, Casey? It's been our best show so far. What's been your favourite anyway?
My favourite to play.
Yeah.
Probably the second Bangkok one because you couldn't hear me, so I had a perfect.
That one was pretty fun.
Yeah, there was a big crowd as well.
Yeah, all the times we've done Bangkok Tap have been really fun. I think we've done it twice now, and both times.
Yeah.
Just bands, James and Jane, just everyone's been lovely. And it's just like,
0161.
totally.
Yeah.
Is there anything you look for in particular when you're gigging? Like any particular things that you're trying to push? Because I know, for instance, Billy, I know that you try to get the crowd going right off the bat. It's like, right, let's get people awake, moving, let's see what we can do. But as a band, as a unit, is there anything in particular you look for, you try to get out of your sound that might make the gig better in some way?
Do not. You don't. I think just everyone bringing the energy, really. Like, just, even if it's like a show where it's like 5 people, just trying to be like, we're playing, like, the arena. We're doing it now, you know what I mean? Like,
It's fun. Well, when it gets to like breakdowns or heavier bits, I try to look into the crowd. I'm like, get into this. Like, your chance to join in.
Yeah. Make it feel like a big party, and you know what I mean? Especially with smaller venues, you can make it feel intimate. In some ways, that's like better than a big gig.
Oh,
where
yeah,
you can't,
100%.
you know what I mean? So just trying to make people feel involved as well is something I think we try and do more now as well.
I know what you mean. Like, the way a place is built is everything. Like, I feel like, say like Rebellion in Manchester is a good example of like a classic style venue, because even if there's not loads of people in there, it's still got that like old venue kind of vibe about it. And like, it's crazy. Like, you can go there during the middle of the day and like it's just pitch black and lit up well, and it kind of fucked with my head because I might have had a few too many drinks, and I was just watching the bands, and you come outside and it just hit you, and you'd be like, whoa, okay, this is a lot. But like, it to me, it reminded me of going to shows back in the day, and I don't know, that I mean, I will say this, and it will lead me into my next question for you. I feel like live music is far from dead, and we're kind of having now like a resurgence in live music, but it's divided. So you've got genuine music lovers that are addicted to it, that are into it, and that you see at shows all the time. Like in Manchester, you've got so many genuinely fucking incredible live bands, and I always look at it like this: like, you can go see those bands right now, and it's dirt cheap, sometimes free, and these are the bands of tomorrow. And people always complain about ticket prices. Well, I don't have to pay out my arse to go see Xenith or Pearlescent, for example. I can go see them right fucking now. And there you go. And I don't know, like maybe I just sound like a sad sap for saying that, but like to me, that's huge. And I genuinely go because it's like the gigs are really fucking good. And the bands are really, really good.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the music's really good.
I think that's a benefit of Manchester though. Like if you can't always afford like the massive headline gigs at the big stadiums, there's always going to be like a local scene or another like heavy night going on around the town centre.
And this is the other thing as well. When you look at affordability of, and it's not just in music as well. Gaming is another good example. Everything that's like highly priced, like a big brand thing, big band, big artist, whatever. It's at a cutoff that's, and there are levels to it. Like, you know, I was astounded to find out that I had friends who was going to see like Queens of the Stone Age recently, and it only cost them 50 quid. And I was like, wow, that's fucking mind blowing. Yeah. Because I would have expected it at least be like over 100 or more. Whereas if you go see, I don't know, who'd be a good example, maybe a more expensive band. Maybe like Korn might be a bit more expensive, or maybe Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, maybe a band like that. Like they'd be a lot of money. And now you're saving up for months to go see a band. And like some of them, like I think if you went to see like a Bring Me the Horizon, that'd be money well spent, and you'd get like your money's worth. But it'd still be like a lot of fucking money, you know? And I think maybe now what we're going to start to see is a divide and maybe more interest in local talent because of affordability. If those ticket prices keep going up, eventually it's just not going to be affordable. And that alienates a certain proportion of society, you know? And people still want to go out and see good fucking music. But in a way it's kind of good because it gives more people an opportunity to showcase and like get themselves heard, you know? In my humble opinion, absolutely. I don't know, but
you make a very good point.
I guess that with festivals, man. Festivals have got
absolutely.
If you can get a day fest around the town, you can go to multiple venues and see multiple acts for like a fraction of the price. Like, why wouldn't you?
I definitely think there's a market for it. I mean, if you look at like what Youngblood has done with is it Bloodfest?
Bloodfest.
It's more like when I look at the ticket prices, I'm like, well, that's just like what going to a festival used to be, which is awesome. And and what I thought was pretty fucking cool about his one is that he's always a headliner, right? So he showcases other people and then he still plays it, and I'm like, that's sick. And that's what like Ozfest used to be and stuff like that. And it obviously gives people, bands, that opportunity, and that's kind of what it's all about. But as you say, like there's a big gap in the market for that. Like it's, and this leads me to my next question, because I'm out of touch with this sort of stuff. I try to keep tabs, but you know I'm very much sort of getting back into rock and metal music because I listen to like a lot of different styles of music, and when it comes to metal music, I've been out of the loop probably the last 10 years. So I was kind of shocked to kind of come back into it and see how certain bands have progressed and other bands kind of just disappeared or just went quieter. What would you say the metal and thrash metal scene looks like in 2025?
I think it's like very mixed bag.
Yeah.
Depends what you're into. I think there are lots more bands and there are lots more really, really good bands. But I think, especially a genre like thrash, I think there's only so far you can take it. So I think as a genre, it's kind of, at least in terms of like big bands, I feel like there haven't been many like big thrash bands breaking through and being like with reinventing thrash and stuff. I mean, like locally, there's loads of really cool thrash bands like Leader, who we did that show with. You think they're like amazing, but it's like in terms of like actual big bands, it just feels like there isn't much going on. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to like try and limit, because I fucking adore thrash metal. I think it's fantastic, but when I think about like why I got into it, it was this is TH me, but I was like, oh, it needs to be as fast as possible. That's all that matters. Fast.
Yeah.
And then you kind of realize that that's not everything, you know. But it certainly is a driving
like the displayer flavor of thrash.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know, like I started to notice that, especially across all of the rest of the thrash metal bands that you can find out there, like, and other bands that fuse, like bands like Vader, for example, it kind of what they'll tend to do is fuse it with other genres, and I feel like that's really the only area that you could take it, is by fusing it with other genres and seeing what you could sort of create. But then it is less thrash metal and more something else, which is good, because for originality, that's what you want, right? But it's also like, it's not just pure thrash metal, which I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
But then I suppose it depends what you want to do as a band, isn't it? Like, what do you want to put out the same record every year, or do you want to put out something slightly different every year?
I think thrash is just like really oversaturated. It's like I feel like thrash gets a lot of popularity because it's tried and tested. It's a good method.
It's good,
But it's like, once you've seen a thrash band, you've seen thrash bands. Like, you don't really get different experiences out of them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, save for maybe tonality. I mean, we spoke about the big four earlier. One thing that I always found quite interesting was that Metallica had like more of a bass heavy tone, and Megadeth felt more like the bass wasn't. It's not that it wasn't there, but it didn't really complement the guitars in the traditional sense. It felt more like it's just a completely separate instrument, and it is.
It played a different role.
Yeah, like I just find that weird, because normally it's like, and this is the misconception I think with a lot of people when it comes to a band, especially metal bands, they think, oh, bass doesn't matter. It's like, no, bass is like so important. Like for like the overall tone of metal, it's like without bass, there's like, I've seen it. I saw a band once, two guitarists and a drummer, and they were fucking great. But all of us were just like, there's no bass. It's just like it's the elephant in the room. It's the thing you can't ignore. It's like screaming at you, and it's just like But I don't know.
I think today we've been recording bass with Jamo, and we can definitely agree that it is like like why does this song sound like terrible? It's like, no, me too. And then do the bass and we're like, oh, like that's why.
We see, the problem is as well, like obviously over the years you realize these things, and then you're just like, oh yeah, we just need to do this. But like I remember back in the day kind of like fucking with my guitar tone for like hours, going like, oh yeah, it must be the guitar it must be this. And then it's like, okay, just put the bass to it. No, it's fine. But it's a learning experience. One thing we've not spoken about, which I think might be quite interesting, is your approach to songwriting. How does the band sort of come together to write music? What's the process?
So for all the songs so far, it's basically been me doing like the majority of the work. It's usually I'll like program awful, terrible drums that are just like blast beats the whole way through. And then that will be like the song. So I'll like write all the riffs, like the lyrics and stuff, and then I'll be like, right, everyone make it sound good now. So that's basically the process. I'll just have initial idea, lyrics and all that, and then everyone will come in and make it sound cohesive.
Okay, so this is interesting. So if that's like your bass line, everyone else in the band, are you kind of like looking at that and going, okay, this needs to change completely, or is it more just like just tweaking? Like, what's been your experience so far with that? Because that can be quite tricky coming into
the song.
Sorry?
No, it depends on the song. Like, if it all flows and you know how to make it good without changing anything, then the song's good. It just needs to be improved upon. But if the song just doesn't flow as it should, and no amount of new drum beats, different bass or even different riff outfits, and the whole structure of just making of the riffs has to change.
Yeah.
Is there ever
definitely been instances of where you've sent over demos, and there have been moments where it only just needs like a slight tweak, and then that's fine. And there have been moments where like I've been dissecting. I've just been dissecting the stems and like sliding them around and stuff like that. But
has there been any times when you've had maybe like creative differences? Maybe you've struggled to kind of see the vision, so to speak, or?
I think like at first, so with like with the album we've got coming out, a lot of it I think like at least half of it was written when it was just me and Ozzy in the band still, and it was just me kind of just solo writing, just like here's a new song, guys, listen to it, whatever. But then like once we got everyone in, it was kind of, I think it took a minute to kind of be like, this is what we're doing. But then once it all kind of fell into place, we were like, oh right, we got it now. Like I think there's always going to be like a bit of teething when it's like we're trying new things out and like we don't know what we're doing exactly yet. But I don't think there's been any major like that's a terrible idea, let's never do that, or like you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's something you have to handle like tentatively. Like you've already kind of like lined it out earlier that like the approach comes from a level of respect, which obviously in any band is really important. Like that's if you don't have good communication and respect, then you just don't have a band really, or you won't do for long. But yeah, like kind of acknowledging people's ideas and then trying to make it better. Like one thing I discovered over the years was a good way of approaching this. It comes down to like how you word things. So like if you maybe you don't agree with an idea, but you have like a suggestion, you can be like, well, what about if we try this? And it's like an alternative as opposed to just being like, your idea's shit. Because it's like, it might not be shit. It might just be that there's a better idea there or concept. And it's like, so sometimes I think in bands it can be forgotten that it is a unit, you're working together, you're not like working against each other. But that certainly doesn't seem to be the case with this band. It does very much feel like a unit, which is like, it's good to see.
Yeah, fantastic.
What would you say have been your sort of biggest successes so far? What are you most proud of?
I think probably our latest single. I think that song just kind of came together really well and like really quickly, and we were just like, it's definitely helped like grow the band a bit more as well in like with relatively like little effort, I guess. Like it was just kind of like, oh, we have this song that isn't really great for the album, but I guess we'll just we still like it, we still want to put it out, so we'll just do it. And then it the way it all just came together was really nice, and we're just really happy with it in the end.
And this is interesting as well, because like in metal it's always classically been EPs or albums, but in all music we're seeing now that a lot more artists are just putting out singles. And as you said, like sometimes it will just be that songs don't fit. Like I've got a couple of singles coming out soon, and I thought about putting them on an EP, but I was like, it could be, but they feel better separate, but they're from the same time, but they're not. Like, I don't know, this is maybe a bit convoluted, but for me it's like an EP or an album is like an idea, a concept. Maybe it's a point in time, maybe it's literally a concept that you're making or something else. This album that you're working on, what would you say is kind of the key theme with it? What is it going to be telling your listeners, your audience?
I think like it's all kind of like rooted in like, I think it was all written across like maybe like about a year, but like there's clear like chunks in the album where I'm like, those 3 songs at that time, those 3 songs at that time, you know what I mean? So, but I think the themes are just kind of like, we just want it to be a lot more like emotional than our other music and kind of be a bit more expressive and I don't know, just kind of more authentic, I guess, rather than like with our EP, it was kind of the way I was writing was like, we need to be thrash, we need to be fast, we need to do this, we need to do that. And with the album, I was just kind of like, I'm just going to write what feels like natural and what's authentic to me, at least, even if it's good or not. It's just like, this is how I feel, I guess. I don't know.
Personally, I like the albums.
I do like the albums.
Yeah.
Have you debuted any of them yet? I mean, I know I've heard quite a few of your songs live now, but what seems to be the songs that are doing better? Is it maybe the deep cuts, or is it maybe the ones you had in mind as the singles? Like,
so far we've only played, I think, one of them live. To be fair, it was, I think we did it at the show you came to with Leader. I think it's like our second song or something. I can't remember, but that's, to be honest, that song's probably like always gets good reaction. Whenever anyone like sends us a video, it's always of that song. Like, oh, cool, right, we're doing it then. So
I've seen you twice now, actually, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely
Was
12.
it Grand Central the other
It
one?
might have been, yeah. I think I literally
Yeah.
came to see you and then immediately left. Like,
Oh.
just came, saw, gone. But like, I mean, that's what I mean. Like when it comes down to being into a band, sometimes it's as simple as that. And that was free.
Yeah.
I saw them for free. Just think about that.
Mm.
Like when people go, when they finish this podcast and they go listen to the band, they're going to be blown away. Because I know I have been. Like when Swim came out, I was like, this is. It sounds boring to just say this is fantastic, but it kind of it felt like a step up. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you hear something and it stands out in a way that other things don't. Like I said, I see bands play every week. I saw loads of bands when I was doing like sound engineering stuff, and I don't know if it's just because I'm fussy or whatever, but like every now and again something just clicks and you're like, they've got something. Don't know what it is, but they've got something. And that's honestly what I feel about you guys. Like I feel like it's at this point it's just timing and finding the right journey to where you want to get to, and yeah, just meeting the right people, man. I mean, like, all it can take is just meeting the right person and then getting in front of the right people.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Boom. You know.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Got a couple of final questions to kind of wrap up the show.
Great.
First one, I think would be good because, as I said quite a few times, like you're quite a tight unit, and I feel like people could learn from you. Like, what advice could you give to other bands?
Practice every week, just learn.
Yeah.
Get the songs down so well that you can start playing them.
Wait, actually, I do have a piece of advice. Yeah.
Oh well.
Don't write during practice time.
Yeah.
That's not what it's there for.
Yeah.
If you want time to write music with everybody, then do it independently with practice. Don't sacrifice practice time to write music.
And I wish I'd had someone tell me that years ago. That's really good advice. Like, I wasted so much time. But okay, this is a fun one. I want everyone here to answer this question. All right, no getting out of this. Don't worry, it's nothing scary.
Oh god. Oh god.
What has music taught you about life?
What sort of philosophical question?
Oh, life. Oh god.
This is
really difficult. Yeah.
Well, I guess like something that I've always taken away from music, right, is that there are certain things that you'll think are really good, and there are certain things that you'll think are really shit, but other people also like that thing. So I guess I've learned to look at it in a way of like not shitting on other people because they like other things than you. Because there was a period of time where I was like, oh my god, I can't believe when I was a bit younger, when I was like, oh my god, I can't believe people listen to chart music. This is so terrible, right? And then it's like, but from their perspective, I'm listening to people screaming. So it's like, yeah, I guess it taught me to not judge people.
Beautiful. I remember how narrow-minded I was when I was a teenager.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of crazy to look back because it was just stupid. Like, it's like you just live
Literally.
yourself like so much.
Hmm.
Anyone else feel brave with the
I
question?
think like a really similar thing to you. Just kind of like, even with like lyrics or something, like learning to try and take other people's perspectives and understand what maybe someone means and look at things more like just take a more empathetic look at like people and try and be like, okay, so like that's how they felt. What can I understand from that, rather than just being like, I don't get it, like, you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. It's a beautiful sentiment. I think it's interesting, especially in today's world. Like everyone always kind of feels at each other's throats sometimes, and I don't know. Music for me has always felt like an escape. Like you can kind of just get away from that and just enjoy it, and it's fun to know like everyone is there for the same reason, and that's like quite inspiring, you know. And that's why it's like even funnier when if you do find people that are not there for that reason, like maybe they're there to judge or they're just being kind of crappy, like they just don't fit the energy, you know, because it's supposed to be a positive thing. It's supposed to like entertain you, hopefully make you feel connected in some way, maybe inspire you, like who knows. Yeah, I totally agree. Do we have any more contributions there before we move on? You don't have to answer the question.
What you said, I was like, as a term of escapism, or like it can be that side of it, or it can be the complete opposite. So say like I really like using music as like a vehicle to just get shit off my chest. Like how I view the world, I don't think I could concisely sit there and tell you about it or find the words to do it. But if I get the chance to like put it in a song, then I can be like, this is about this is how I feel. But you can also get like many people who will come for that reason, not to escape it, but to embrace it.
Wow.
I feel like how malleable music can be. You can talk about anything.
You know, I'd never considered that as well. That's a real fair point. Like it's there's always this expectation. There's always an expectation, isn't there, to like just have to like speak loads and like always say something profound or whatever. And like sometimes like it's better to just let the work speak for itself, and that is, you know, how you see the world. Like I tried to do that with my album. Like it was just mostly like life lessons from like years ago kind of thing, or like specific events put into music. And it's funny, like some of it's still relevant, other stuff is just like a time capsule. But it's weird, like people will find things that you'd never considered in it as well. Like they'll just find something in it and you'll be like, oh, mad, like I hadn't thought of that. But okay. What's the best advice you've ever received?
That's a fantastic question.
I pride myself on that. I try.
Not worrying about being unoriginal. Like, I think there's so much emphasis on being super original and like having to reinvent the wheel. But I think when someone gives you the permission to be like, you know, you don't have to like do something profound and unique every second of your musical career. Like, it's okay to like embrace just, you know, kind of following in the footsteps of the bands before you and stuff. I think that's like takes a lot of the pressure off when you can just be like, yeah, it's okay to just like not have to worry about like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. What's the biggest life lesson you've learned so far?
I guess to not take myself too seriously with it, if that makes sense. Like, it is inherently a very silly thing. Like getting together with your friends and writing music and playing to people, like it's fun, right? And it doesn't have to be like, no, you must be serious and we have to do this perfect and yada yada yada. Like, it is a fun process, and that's okay.
I'll share this. I don't know if I've told anyone about this before. The reason my band ended, it was completely my fault. We were going for 3 years, and I will maintain to this day, and if any of them watching or ever watch this, listen to this, I maintain this. No, nothing like that. We had something, like we had a lot of potential, and I don't disagree with my younger self pushing things, but the way I did it, I was an asshole. And I remember, I think the drummer turned around to me towards the end and said, "You sucked the fun out of it." And that was like it was a painful realization, but it was true. It's like if you're in a band, there's so many elements they don't tell you about, like the scheduling. You know, everyone's got a different life, everyone's got shit on, and you're all trying to come together to do this stuff. Sometimes you'll have other projects, you know, and that's another element to it as well, managing that. And then it's just, you know, the actual just coming together with the music, creating the music, and then playing it. And if everyone's on board and everyone's in the same sort of space, then it's a lot easier to do that. But there's still always those challenges. And then you've got like personalities and stuff like that. And some bands make it work, some don't. Some make it work for a time and then don't. I think it's always interesting to see, like I saw recently, which is pretty crazy, just a side note, talking about Manchester. I saw in an interview recently that Morrissey from the Smiths wanted to like sell all of his rights and royalties and stuff for the Smiths music because he said that he wanted to disassociate himself from it, which I found kind of crazy because it's like, even if you would legally sell that, you made that, you're part of that, like forever.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like you look at the history, they've sued each other like a million times and all that. And I just look at it like, it's really sad because if you listen to their music, it's this like time capsule in the 80s, a very sort of beautiful time. They were all young, they were just like a band doing their thing. And then they became that later on, or he became that later on. And, and it's just sad, you know? It's just sad. I don't know. It's because like when I look back on that band I was in, like I have a lot of respect for those guys. You know, I think they in time obviously forgave me. I don't think they held it against me, but there's a difference between like believing in something and pushing it and maybe going too far with it, and then there's just making it too business and too serious. And as you said, like you've got to keep it fun, you got to keep it enjoyable, and then that's what's going to ultimately keep you together, especially through like the difficult times as well. Like when there's challenges, it's like, well, we've got each other, we'll get through this and we'll use it. I don't know. Final question for you. Do you have, other than the ones you've discussed, any upcoming projects or final thoughts that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, I guess the main point is the album. Yeah, album next year at some point, early in the year. Yeah, other than that, I think we've got like one gig in Blackpool later this year, November.
Damn. Okay.
But other than that, we're just kind of, working away on the album. It'll be out soon, hopefully. But yeah, that's basically it from us.
Excited to see it, man.
You'll hear from us soon. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome when it finally comes out. I'd like to say a massive thank you for agreeing to be on the show and doing the show and for giving me a bit of your time. I know a lot of people are going to be stoked about this. I know I am. So thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. And I wish you the best of luck.
Of course. Thank you for having us. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
To all the listeners of the Christian Reeve podcast, I'll make sure that there are links in the bios. You can go check out Xenith everywhere that you can find music. And of course, as always, be safe, be well, and I will see you in the next one.